and welcome to Lindina. So we are not too far from Snowdonia here, having a bit of a laugh. Weather has just been absolutely challenging for the whole weekend. Its temperature's dropped a little bit now, wind's dropped a bit as well, down to 40 degrees, so it's a bit of a blessing as well. But we are here shooting that and that boathouse as well. So yeah, so I was asked a while ago, how do you shoot panoramic? So I thought I'd give it a little whirl here, see how we can get on as well. So a bit rough and ready this one here on the water's edge. Got some foreground interest with these rocks running across the frame there, and I've shot a couple of wide shots, but I thought I want to try and maybe get this whole vista in the shot here. So have a little look. See, there's a lot to see, but it's a bit of a job to get it all in one frame. 10mm is going to be distorted at the corners. So what I've done, set the camera up in portrait mode, got the camera very level as well as it can be, and not the best head for this, or the best way around for doing this, because I've actually had to angle using the ball head, tip it off to the side, because I haven't got the L bracket for the camera, so I'm trying to travel as light as I can for this weekend. So I had other stuff to carry, like first aid kits and bits and pieces like that. But what we've done here, started off on the far right of the frame over here, using the grad filter, ran it in with the slope of the hill, which is running up there as well, running with the slope of the hill there, shooting relatively wide, I think about 16-17mm on the camera, and we make a couple of sweeps going across with the camera to make sure everything stays on the horizon and level all the way through the photo. And you can soon see if it's running out. If it's running up or down at any point, you haven't got your camera level, that's going to create you some issues. The image is actually going to run uphill, and your crop is going to become quite narrow on the actual shot itself. With that, the panoramic is just going to be looking like a really thin line, and you're going to lose a lot of the top and the bottom of the shot. So the more level you get that shot in camera, the bigger the picture you're going to get as well. And that's where it sort of comes a little bit of mess around. So I spent about 10 minutes getting that as level as I could do. I'm hoping this is going to work, and I'm not too far close towards the actual water's edge as well. But from there, all we've done is start to think about where our shots are going to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think I shot 9 coming across here as well. Obviously I work from my right to my left, working all the way across, and each shot that I was running on here, as the gradient of the hills changed and the shape of the hills where the cloud was, I've then adjusted the grad filter. I've got a 3-stop grad in there and a 6-stop ND to smooth out the water. I didn't want the choppiness of the water in the shot. So from there, we then run it all the way across, finishing the last photo off on the left there. Fingers crossed it's going to work. It's 9, I think it was 9 shots I took altogether. But and the key as well is to get them done quite quickly, so the light is similar in each of the shots as well. So from that, we should be good to go. But what I am going to do is I am going to take a few steps back, probably go back about 5 or 10 meters, just to shoot a little bit further back, just so I can get a second attempt at this whole image. If the first one doesn't work, the key I'm wanting to get here is the shape of the valley and the ridge of the hills going across there with the expanse of water as well with these rocks. That's what's sort of working for me in this shot here, and it's like I say, with 10mm, there's no way on earth I can get that in. So yeah, bit of a good way of doing it. So fingers crossed it's going to work, and we can go from there. So from here, I'm going to be showing you how to do everything in Lightroom. So the next place you'll be seeing me will be talking to the computer, somewhere where it's nice and warm and I can feel my fingers. So yeah, take care and speak to you in a bit. Hello, so I'm now back home from Wales, where we ended up having a bit of a wet and windy weekend. But as always, it's always about getting the photos, getting them in camera and everything as well. So I promised you that I'm going to put together this panoramic that I shot while we were at Lindinas, I believe it was pronounced. And yeah, this was a fairly challenging shot here. So you can see on here, this is one of 7 photos that I took. So just so you can see what we shot: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 photos altogether. So they're obviously in order from when we took them, and you can see up on here by using, I believe it's the I button. Yeah, the I button, we can get our information about what we shot. So I shot here with the 1655 2.8 on the Fujifilm lens, shot at 16mm as well, ISO 11, f11, ISO 100, and we shot for 8 seconds. None of those settings changed whatsoever throughout the exposure. Only thing that did change while we took the photos was the positioning of the grad filter, because obviously the first photo, the position of where the light and the mountain and the shape of the mountain is fairly different as well, so we did change that as the image sort of rolled through between each shot. So from there, it's quite a simple process now to be finishing off the panoramic. All we want to be doing, selecting all the images which are in the panoramic, like this. I tend to leave everything unedited as it is at the moment. Some people, what they will do is they will give it a quick edit first. So you edit up your first photo on here like I showed you before, and by doing that you can then just hit sync to sync up the exact same edit to the rest of the photo. What I'm going to get here though is I'm going to get what's in theory sort of like a flat profile throughout all the images, and I'm going to edit it all in one as well, and it will get like a bit of an automatic adjustment through the process as well. So I've selected all 7 photos, right click on the mouse once you've selected those, and from here we then go into photo merge, panorama, and in here I tend just to leave it on the spherical version on here as well. That's what it'll automatically default onto, and it's just a case of this will go as quick as it can throughout the process, depending on the speed of your computer and the capability of it, how quick it will actually create the panorama view as well. And from here you can see what we've then got. Now the reason being why we've got these little white bits up at the top here is because it wasn't quite level, and I did this on a bit of a rush. You remember I did it on the ball head, was actually angled down a little bit as well, so it was angled off to the side, and so I could have got this a bit more level if I tried. But we can, if we go for a little bit on here, just fill the edges and we watch the corners up here. It will build those up using a bit of a content aware style on there as well. With that, it's just going to create a bit more of an artificial sort of look to the image on there, and there you go, it's all done it for you now as well. And from here we then just have to hit the merge button, and that is then going to create our panoramic view of what we want from the shot as well. And from there it's a case of we can then just jump into here. We can see straight away, this is one that I just did earlier on as well, exactly the same photo, because it does take a little while for it to create it as well. And you can see the width of the view we got on there is absolutely phenomenal as well. I did go and shoot a 10mm version of that as well, and you can see from the actual image, I mean that's what we were getting with 16mm. And when you then look at the panoramic view, I mean you can see why you'd shoot this as well. It needs a little bit of leveling up coming up on here. We'll use that as probably as the base of the for the horizon to be correct, and from there it's going to be good to go. So as always, thank you ever so much for tuning into this really, well, it's going to be a bit of a long tutorial actually, because we let's say we had the bit out in the field in Lindinas as well, and let's say this bit here as well, but I'm hoping that explains a little bit of the process between sort of making your panoramic views as well. It really is a straightforward process. It does take a bit of practice. The subject matter does need to be something that the computer can grip onto on each side. If you've not got a lot of interest going in on there, it is going to make it a little bit tricky for it to actually create the panoramic by stitching everything together. And the last thing to do really from there is just zoom right the way in, and what you need to be doing is just checking all the way across, making sure that everything is as it should be basically. And you can see on here the detail that we get from this as well is absolutely, it's just crazy on here. So if we have a little look on here, so that's 1:1, so that's 100% basically. You can see there the wind blowing everything about as well, a nice bit of movement in the photo. But yeah, so the image is there, all the details are in there. So for there, thank you ever so much for checking this out, and as always, please hit the like button and double check you hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with what else I get up to for all my adventures, and all the best.